in the ring, feel the adrenaline rush, throwing fists and kicks, the pain we can't hush. And then they find us, we're the real tough guys, breaking down barriers, we aim for the skies. Into the octagon, like a warrior I stand, trading blows, taking hits as I command. The art of combat, I'm ready to go. Submission, knockout, that's how I flow. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling with my golden octagon. The stage we ignite. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling like a golden octagon. The stage we ignite.
And we are live. Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast with your hosts, Matt and D Rose.
What's this gonna be? What? God damn it! What is this? Monsters Inc. D-Rose, what is this?
What is I didn't realize that my mic on mute. What is going on here? What an open for the Golden Octagon here.
Dude, what is this? In which way does it go? This way or this way?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
All right. I like this, man. I like it.
Oh my! Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. My name is Matt. D-Rose is right over there on the side of your screen. And, wow, what an opening, D-Rose. As you see, I got clean swept this past week, to be honest. So this is the attire for the podcast today. So yeah, I look like a fucking idiot, dude. Not gonna lie, but yeah, it is what it is. That's what I get for getting fucking clean sweep. Not only that, we got the fire or the sours coming up today as well, and hopefully, that goes by smoothly as well. But with that being said, D Rose, how have you been over the past week, my guy? I know you've been waiting on this moment, huh?
Man, yeah, I actually have been, man. I've been looking forward to this episode here for this is one of the most look forward to episodes I've had in a while. Hadn't had too many moments where I can kind of bask in the glory a little bit, but I'll definitely take this little victory strut. We'll talk about the fights. But yeah, I texted you about halfway through that first round of the Bobby Green fight, and I was like, man, what's your address? Let me go ahead and get that address from you, so we can go ahead and send that wig on through. So yeah, what an open, and man, I love doing this.
Yeah, man. I love this podcast. It is something that I truly look forward to every single week. So, if you guys don't know what to look forward to in today's show, what we have to look forward to is our UFC Mexico recap. I don't have the little banner for that, but I'll get it pulled up here in a second. We got the Wheel of Doom, where I will be facing said Wheel of Doom, this week. And then we've got some UFC news and fight announcements to go over. And then we will close out the show with our UFC 326 BMF title. Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira 2. Our predictions, picks, preview, all that good stuff. But before we get into to all of that, D-Rose, we gotta hit up the chat. We gotta hit up the chat real quick. So anything before we get into the chat though, while I'm getting these things set up here?
Yeah, no, things have been, this past week, things have been great. And, just in terms of how the fights went this past week, the fights, they were some pretty good fights. And, the part that sucked is, the only bet that I ended up hitting was Bobby Green, but I ended up losing that on Brandon Moreno anyway. So it didn't really end up mattering in the end. So, ended up coming out losing anyway. So, that's just what it is, but cannot seem to get a consistent streak going in terms of, stacking a few dubs here. I get one, I lose 3, I get one, I lose 4, and it's just, I need to come down and kind of lock in and try to get these bets right.
Tell me about it, dude. I've not a good start to 2026 betting wise for me, man. Like, I ended out 2025 all right, but 2026, dude, it's just like, dude, not good for me. And in the on the MMA side, doing all right basketball.
I've actually even
but
been going a little bit lighter, like in terms of like how much I've been betting and everything, and I still end up like it maybe undercard fights that I might not be too familiar with the fighters or anything like that. Like I've even been staying away from those. Like I've been doing like a lot of like just main card bets, and I'm still just coming up swinging and missing, man. So it's just just getting down to the grind, but again we got to lock in and we gonna get a consistent flow. We gonna get there because the singles are hitting, the parlays are what gets us. So we gonna lock in here.
I feel like I've seen one of these blowing around the hood, dude. Probably a little bit longer though.
Yeah, probably like a little bit more kind of like free flowing here a little bit. Yours is more kind of like you're getting ready to go like Super Saiyan or something from Dragon Ball Z.
Some leaves in it. Anyway, let's shout out the chat. We got Austin in here. What's going on, Austin? We got Dave in here. All hell, my butthole queen, says Dave. We must, Dave. We must.
Again.
We got Antoine here. Yo, hope you boys are good. Saying hi from the gym. How was y'all's week? Not too bad, Antoine. Not too bad. D-Rose happy. Dave prefers dirty dishwater beans. It's only right that wearing the dentist shirt. D-Rose, I have this sick shirt that I got out of my closet. Look at this Dennis Rodman shirt wearing a wedding dress. How sick is that?
That is very Dennis Rodman. If there's one thing, if someone asks, who was Dennis Rodman, like your kids, your grandkids, somebody asks you that picture right there pretty much sums it up.
The greatest rebounder ever. That's who he was. No one's holding me at gunpoint, Antoine. I promise. Well, Austin wants to know what the blue hair is for, D-Rose. And then Skunks says, dudes, what's going on, Skunks? How you doing, brother? What is Austin missing, D-Rose?
Yeah, Austin. So what we're doing is, and we will announce it as we're talking about the fights, but we will now, if there is a clean sweep in the pick champ, the loser has to wear some sort of loser's wig of the winner's choice.
Or hat. Wig or hat.
Wig or hat. Yes, wig or hat. And yes, this was the one that I chose for Matt. This was, I was going back and forth between a couple of different ideas, but some of the wigs I was looking at, he kind of already had versions of. So I'm like, man, it's kind of hard to find a wig that you didn't already have. So that was the one I stumbled on. I think I think this one takes the cake for the best wig you born on the podcast.
Oh man, what I'm gonna do for you when I clean sweep your ass this week, dog, So hold on. If it's just one fight, it doesn't count as a clean sweep, right? So say we pick different on like fucking one fight, that don't count as a clean sweep, right?
Right. I wouldn't, but
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's got to
we
be at
usually
least
end up
three. It's got to be at
even if
least
we
three.
have to make
Yeah.
our way to 3 fights, we
Oh.
typically make
Oh
our way to at
man,
least 3.
the things that I have cooked up for D Rose is, oh goodness. Oh, you just wait, buddy. What's the craziest thing you? I cannot say that. It's what's the craziest thing I was for Halloween? If you clean sweep D Rose, you should make him wear a plunger. You just that. Just straight up stuck to your head.
Dave, I thought we was cool, man. Like I don't need all that.
Oh my goodness. All right, D Rose. So, with that being said, let's get into our UFC Mexico recap from this past day. This thing's already hot, man. This is gonna be an episode, that's for
Hey,
sure.
to be fair, we talked about it.
I know, dude. You're like, that's the point. It's gonna be hot and uncomfortable. All right, let's get into our UFC Mexico recap. It's gonna be a quick show, y'all. Here we go. So this past week,
quickest Golden Octagon in the Golden Octagon history.
so this past weekend, fight number one at UFC Mexico, penis absolutely exploded all over Wes Schultz. Didn't really stand a chance, huh? The penis explosion. I think you're muted, dog.
Oh yes, I am muted. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, penis went all out and fully extended himself and really did his thing there to really penetrate the defense and was able to really get the job done. It was a clean performance. Uppercuts were nice. Honestly, it kind of reminded me of Ilya Taporia and Ryan Hall. Like that's exactly what it reminded me of. Like as soon as penis touched him, Wes Schultz knew he could only handle so much penis.
Schultz was trying to grab penis. He just couldn't get a hold of him. Too big, too strong, too powerful, too explosive is penis. Penis went hard, says Dave. Penis went hard. Let's see. Let me watch Matt Pukey wear a puncher picture, boys. We've got beans, Dave. They just haven't been spun yet. The beans haven't been spun, dog. All right. Anyway, Eric Silva, Francis Marshall. Fucking Francis Marshall just went out here, spread Eric Silva's cheeks, and just no, that's the last fight. Never mind. Dude, fucking Francis Marshall just went out here and just fucking toyed with Eric Silva. Round one submission. Regina Taran, I'll let you talk about this one for just a second, dude. I had bet this fight to go to split decision at plus 325, and then I had bet Regina Taran by split decision at plus 1,000, dude. So when it went into decision, I was like, oh, come on, I actually need a fucking Karascate like lean right now, and like I wasn't sure that she fucking won fucking 2 of those rounds, to be honest. So ended up not going her way. Regina Taran wins via decision. She's going to be a handful, dude. She's got some pop in her punches, dude. Muay Thai kickboxer. Looks like solid takedown defense as well. Got some power. A lot of people don't like the way her body looked on Saturday. D Rose, you want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, just to say, in as far as her performance, she did have a good fight. For her to take the fight on short notice, I know she had a Muay Thai performance or
At
a Muay Thai fight.
145. She was scheduled for 145. That's 20 pounds up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And she ends up having to cut down to 130. In 3 days' notice, that's definitely something to give her credit for. And she went out there and did her thing in the fight. But all you knuckle dragging bozo meatheads that are like sharing like edited pictures of her, like taking pictures in the mirror, not while she's not in a fight camp versus her in the octagon this past weekend and talking about you got catfish or she's fat and this and that. Like, dude, you are the absolute meatheads that like when people look at MMA fans, like they're the ones that are like, oh, like they are like the scum of the earth. Like they are the most low degenerate people that that can be associated with. And it's just annoying that to say that you got catfished by Regina Tarn because she didn't look like some AI edited picture of her online in the octagon. Regardless, she still looked fine, and and she was a badass too. So uh yeah, just no need to lay into Regina Tarn because I mean I didn't think there was anything wrong with it, but leave it be.
Yeah, I got you. Everyone can have their preferences. Anyway, moving on up, Douglas Da Silva, Andrade taking on Javier Reyes. Early stoppage, in my opinion. Round one, 4 minutes, 59 seconds. I thought it was going to get to the end of the round, but referee stepped in. What's your thoughts here, man?
Yeah, it was a fun fight while it lasted. Douglas, Douglas Silva de Andrade, he got the knockdown, early on, and Javier Reyes, to his credit, man, stayed with it and was able to get the knockdown of his own. I didn't think I thought the stoppage was good, because he got flattened out and he was getting bombed on, and I noticed a few seconds left in the fight and everything, and I did have I was looking at taking this fight over 1.5, but
I had bet
did.
the over 2.5 here.
Yeah, yeah,
Not even close.
yeah. So yeah, exactly. So I'm glad I didn't, but yeah, I thought it was a clean stoppage and a fun fight for a while lasted.
Yeah, let's talk about one that I guess went in the decision. Christian Quinones versus Chris Mutino. Chris versus Chris, man. Yeah, Chris Quinones wins via decision. Maybe in the third round, Chris Mutino was kind of starting to walk him down a little bit, dude. But Chris Mutino cannot cut off the cage, man. He has the absolute worst footwork in the UFC. Dude, it might be a race for Jamal Hill or Chris Mutino, who has worse footwork. And the crazy part is one of those became a champion, dude. I just like Chris Mutino cannot track anyone down, and that's his issue, man. And he just chases people around and gets hit, dude. I think they're gonna he's gonna end up getting cut, if not already cut. But he'll just be that guy that if you beat him, you get to the UFC. But if not, like he's like the champion of like CFFC or some shit like that. Thoughts on Quinones versus Mutino?
I am not going to lie. This is one fight I did not go back and
Okay.
watch. Unfortunately, I told you I missed a lot of the early fights. Went back and watched some of them. This was one I did not. I did not go back and watch.
Did you watch Aileen versus Macy Chasson?
For what I could bear of it.
Dude, Macy Chasson, I feel like she looks good in every fight, and then she something happens and like she loses. Like against Irina Aldana, she was winning that whole fight, got liver kicked. Just like shit like that. In
On
this fight,
upset
dude.
too.
Yeah. This fight, she was winning distance striking, kinda piecing up Aileen Perez. Throws a kick, falls down. Aileen Perez is on top of her for the rest of the round. Round 2 starts. Macy Chasson comes out, throws a kick, slips. Aileen Perez is on top for the rest of the round. And guess what happens in round 3? If you guessed her slipping again, Aileen Perez ending up on top, and for the rest of the round, you would be correct. Aileen Perez wins via decision, dude. What did you think of this fight? The parts that you saw of it?
Yeah, just kind of looking like a in Aileen Perez performance. I mean, I would say, just disappointing for Macy Chiasson to kind of be, where she's at in her career right now, where, you see the potential, but it just seems like she can't put it together. But for Aileen Perez, I mean, what, she's on like a 6-fight win streak now. So for her, as far as moving forward in the bantamweight division, not a loaded division, maybe one or two more fights, and maybe she could put herself in some sort of title conversation or something like that. So it's good for her. Kind of or not kind of. It was a really dumb call out to call out Tracy Cortez out of all people, who fights at 125. But yeah,
Dude, she's
other
been
than that,
calling her out for a few fights now too. Like the
yeah,
past 3 fights, she's been calling out Tracy Cortez. Like,
yeah. I don't get it. I don't know. I haven't read anything online in terms of whatever their beef is, but clearly, Aileen Perez has some sort of beef with Tracy Cortez.
yeah, I think because fucking Tracy calls her like a slut for doing her OnlyFans thing.
Damn, makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Main event of the prelims. Rest in peace, Jose Medina, dude. Dude, this was at the point where I'm like, I lost pick champ this week. This is the point where I was like, oh no, dude. What an early stoppage. Jose Medina, dude, out of every single one of his fights, all 4 of them in the UFC now, has been a robbery decision or early stoppage, man. Against Mansour Abdul Malik, dude, he was still calling them on, dude. Early stoppage. This one right here against Ryan Gandra, early stoppage. I don't care what you say, dude. He deserves 10 more fights in the UFC, but unfortunately, UFC has cut the real JDM, Jose Daniel Medina. Yeah, man. What's your thoughts on the round one early stoppage? 41 seconds it says, but as I said, a little bit early.
Yeah, really went exactly how I said it was going to go. Just because Jose Medina does nothing when he's in the octagon. Like, he literally does nothing except for waving people on. I.e. when he did it against Atiba Gautier, when he just, oh yeah, go doo-doo, yeah, hit doo-doo, yeah, doo-doo, and just getting absolutely crushed. He's good for waving people on, but that's about it. Sure, I guess that's fun, being a professional punching bag. But yeah, at this point, there's no need for him in the UFC.
Dude, fun fighter, just willing to go out there and give it his all, man.
So the UFC does at a certain point in time need guys like that, but I think it's fair to say the UFC has blown their load with Jose Medina.
You know what I'm going to use all of his footage as? If
What?
I ever am like sitting on the couch, if I'm watching a fight, like, and I hear someone say, I bet I could beat that guy, I would show them all the Jose Daniel Medina fights. I'm like, this is what you would look like. This was an actual guy that's won 11 fights. This is someone that's actually skilled, and this is what would happen in the UFC to you. But quicker, like you would not stand a fucking chance. Anyway, main card: Santiago Luna, Angel Pacheco. Lost some dollars on this one. I did have Santiago Luna be a knockout, dude. I thought he was going to knock him out at some point, dude, because he hits hard, and Angel Pacheco has no defense. But I did have the over 1.5, which I don't hate because that cash, but I ended up not winning anything anyway because other fights fell out. I think it was Kevin Borjas fight. I did pick Kevin Borjas there, or the over 1.5 there. I'm not sure it got that far. I don't know. It already fell out. Anyway, Santiago Luna defeats Angel Pacheco via decision. UFC cuts Angel Pacheco. Thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, good performance for Luna. I mean, Pacheco showed that he had a good chin, but yeah,
All right,
yeah, I was
All right, Charlie Z. Calm down.
Dude, that was a bad stoppage against Deontay Wilder, dude. Yeah, Charlie Z was definitely lighting him up.
Yeah.
But
Dude, he
but
fucking
yeah,
popped up on my
no,
Instagram earlier today. I was like, what the fuck?
haven't seen
Can
this
you
clown
guess
in
who he was
years.
calling out? Can you guess who he was calling out?
Conor McGregor.
He said Alexander Usyk. He's like, people don't want to see it 30 years from now. Like, we're both old. We're both in our prime. 999 and 0. Charlie Z. I knocked out Deontay Wilder. This fucking guy.
Yo, this dude is crazy. And the worst part is we have seen you get your ass whooped. Like whooped.
I don't know if I've seen you like win one time, even in your own video. Like,
If it's literally because the other person's not fighting back.
right? Like
That's the only reason why he wins.
they're putting on their gloves, and he goes boop, and he's like, "All right, I'm done."
And then, oh, dude, bro, why are you hitting me?
They're putting on their
Because you-
gloves still. Like, what are you doing?
Cheating is.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, a good win for Luna.
Yeah. All right, moving on up. Eminal Rodriguez, round 2 knockout over Kevin Borjas, dude. Kevin Borjas looked good round 1, dude. And then round 2 just kind of fell apart. Wheels fell off, man. Thoughts on that one?
Well, he looked good for the first 2 minutes of the first round. Then after he Borjas had that little sequence where he hurt Rodriguez. But dude, good resolve for Rodriguez to get rocked the way he did. I thought Borjas was on his way to get him out of there. And for him to be able to, show the resilience, stay composed, stay with it, able to get back to the feet, and then really from that point on, after he was able to get the wrestling to control the rest of that first round, that second round he just went right back to business as if nothing ever happened, and had a nasty knockout in the process. So good win for Rodriguez, and a fun fight too.
Yeah, man. Edgar Charas, Felipe Bunez, dude. Felipe Bunez, maybe he isn't as buns as what I thought he was, or maybe bad night for Charas, dude. I don't know. I cannot believe this fight went to decision. I see a few people actually say that they thought Felipe Bunez won that fight. I didn't see it. What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, it did go to a split decision. I mean, and Chairez was getting busted up. I mean, he clearly won the first round, and I felt like Felipe Muse clearly won the first round.
Wait, you? Yeah. All right, yeah. Like I was
Yeah.
like, he had like I was like, fucking Bunez was like on his like fucking back the whole like the first round.
Yeah. Buenas won the first round, and then Chairez won the third round. I think it really came down to the second round, and I did give that round to Chairez, but yeah, it was a fun fight, and I wouldn't say necessarily a bad night at the office, as I sneeze there, but I guess I just don't know how good Edgar Chairez is. Like, just in terms of, is he going to be competing towards the top of the division, or is he just going to be a fun fighter in the division? I think probably just a fun fighter in the division, but it ended up being a pretty good fight.
Yeah, man. Moving on up, this fucking one, dude. Daniel Zellhuber, King Green, dude. Yeah, the DNB do not bet list is back. Daniel Zellhuber is on it, dude. I will never put my money on him again, dude. It's like I don't know what to say. Not only did you not beat fucking Bobby Green, you got knocked out by Bobby Green. Who did he fight fucking last fight? Like fucking Lance Gibson? Like he got finished quicker than Lance Gibson did, dude. Like what's going on, dude? I'm out on Daniel Zellhuber. You won't catch me betting him again, dude. What's your thoughts here?
Yeah. I mean, I did pick King Green to win the fight, but I did not think it would go the way that it did. And for me, I told you halfway through that first round, I know we made the joke, but I said King Green is in full King Green mode, and you said, he's going to turn into Bobby here soon. But yeah, it was not too long. I think after that sequence, I said, "Man, what's the address? Because I'm gonna send that wig on over. Because man, Bobby's gonna win this fight, dude." And yeah, he just looked clean, kind of like a vintage performance from Bobby Green. But dude, Daniel Zellhuber, it is so frustrating watching him be the bigger dude and not know how to use his range at all. Like, dude does not have a jab to save his life. I mean, Bobby Green was literally like just walking him down, and there were moments where like Zellhuber was kind of jumping in the range, but and was not blocking and was just jumping in place, doing nothing. I'm like, what is going on? Like, why is he just sitting there? And Bobby Green's just like, okay, if you're just going to sit here, I'm just going to tee off on you. And he did it multiple times until eventually he ended up knocking Zellhuber out. So, unfortunate loss for Zellhuber, but
Ka-ching.
man, my sneezes are on a roll tonight.
Yeah,
But yeah, disappointing loss for Zellhuber, but I'm not super surprised about it either.
that's fair, man. That's fair. Moving on up, we have Cheeto Vera, David Martinez. Dude, this one went about how we thought it would go. David Martinez wins via decision. I guess maybe Cheeto did more in the third, I guess, than what we or me expected. I felt like Cheeto won the third round, but at that point, it was already too late. David Martinez 2-1, in my opinion. What's your thoughts on co-main event, man? Oh, you're muted, my guy.
Oh, sorry. What I was making sure I didn't have to sneeze again. But no, I thought that it went just exactly how we thought it would. Uh, David Martinez wins the first two rounds because Cheeto decides to not do too much. I will say the back half of the second round, I did think, or I would say probably like the last minute of the second round, Cheeto got a little bit more active there, and I thought there could have been a chance that he stole the round. But I do think the judges have actually gotten a little bit better about making sure that in situations where fighters win the last sequence of the round doesn't mean they won the entire round, because I did think David Martinez won that second round. But I thought there was a chance that Cheetah maybe could have stole that second round and could have maybe snuck away with a split decision there at the end. The third round was clearly Cheetah's round, but just too little too late for Cheetah Vera, and just another similar performance to how his others have gone. And for Dave Martinez, like, I know he's beaten Rob Font, he's beaten Cheeto. I don't know about his ultimate upside, just in terms of getting to the top. I mean, because I know Cheetah's not the smallest dude at 135, but dude, like Sandhagen and O'Malley and even Song Yadong, like, I think those guys are going to have like considerable size advantages against him. Now, Dale Martinez has a lot of speed with him, but I still want to see a little bit more before I'm ready to proclaim that he's ready to compete with the guys up in the top 10 of the division.
That's fair, man. That's fair. Moving on up, main event, Loney Kavanaugh, Brandon Moreno, dude, is the best base for being a top flyweight at this point, maybe winning a championship, just getting absolutely obliterated by Energy Johnson, dude, because Snoozer's Josh Van becomes a champion. Snoozer's Loney Kavanaugh comes out here and styles over Brandon Moreno in Mexico City for really all 5 rounds, dude. I don't think Brandon looked good at any point in that fight, dude. He got beat up the first 3 rounds. He tried to come out like, yeah, I'm okay, and just kept getting beat up, man. It's like, sad to see, man. Sad to see the downfall of the Assassin Baby, because, man, Brandon Moreno just 2 or 3 years ago was on top of the world, man, and now losing to Loney Kavanaugh, coming off on short notice in his hometown, dude, at elevation, dude, just kind of it's hard to even contemplate, man. What's your thoughts on the main event this past weekend?
Yeah, tough to see Brandon Moreno and where he's at right now, and for Leonard Kavanaugh, start with him. It was a great performance, and not to say that I thought that Brandon Moreno was going to wash him out by any means, but I did think that going from getting knocked out by Charles Johnson in his last fight, which we now understand that that's actually a plus, not a minus. But he got knocked out by Charles Johnson in his last fight. I know that Kavanaugh had a fight coming up, but he was still training for a 3-round fight, switching to a 5-round fight, going into elevation. It was, I thought the cards are kind of stacked against him to really have the type of performance that he did. But, even with the deck stacked against him, he still rose to the occasion and did his thing out there. And, like I messaged you and told you during the fight, he had hurt Moreno more than I think even Figgy did, in certain situations. And, especially in that second round when he was able to kind of, when Kavanaugh was able to land that little fury there on the fury of punches that he kind of threw on Moreno and almost got him out of there. But yeah, it was surprising to see. Looks like a gazoo tank. Looks like the sneezes are getting a little bit contagious there. But
that was a cough. I just.
But yeah,
right.
it looked tough to see Brandon Moreno. I mean, like, I guess let's just face it, man. It's tough to see him look washed because I mean that's really what he looked like. He looked like he was washed, man.
Yeah, man, sad to see. So that was the UFC Mexico recap. We have something to get into, and it is something that I don't want to do, but it is part of the show. It is the dun 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 Wheel of Doom, D-Rose. So I will share said screen, and yeah, we can talk about it for a second. Let me pull up the music because I know you
Dun.
like the music.
Man, we need a little bit of the fire beans, man. I mean, neither one of us haven't got them yet.
Yeah, you should have got them last week. That's exactly when.
Well, there's always next week, which in that case would be this week. So let's make it happen again.
Time for the fire or sour. Results from UFC Mexico City were Wes Schultz versus Penis, where Penis exploded on Schultz. Next fight, Jose Medina, Ryan Gandra, where Gandra got an early stoppage against Jose Medina. And the last fight was Daniel, the Golden Boy Zellhuber versus King Green, in which I had Wes Schultz, Jose Medina, and Daniel Zellhuber. D-Rose had Penis. D-Rose had Green, Penis, and Gandra. He has a green penis. Yeah, so that's a clean sweep for D-Rose this week. Clean sweep for old D-Rose, which means that I am wearing this blue wig, and also I get to spin what's known as the Wheel of Doom. So without any further ado, let's see if we get sour or fire. In 3, 2, 1.
It's the bean bar.
Oh.
Don't stop. Let's get some fire for it.
No! Oh, God. Oh, God.
It's what we've been asking for.
We have not been asking for
It's
this.
what we've been asking for.
Close that. So, because I spun fire, this second wheel gets spun. Here we go.
Let's see which one.
Come on. Sriracha? I feel like that's not too hot, right? That's literally the least hot one. That's the least hot one.
Yeah,
I'll take it. Sriracha on the back, baby. There we go. Let me change the music now.
It's the bean bar. stop.
Gotta get the sriracha bean out.
Hey.
Dude, hold on. This is kind of fucked because there's 3 red beans and one of them is the worst one. I don't want to get that one on accident. That's kind of fucked, huh?
Well, that's what I didn't understand with that's why I figured you want to do a blind draw, but
Hey, that is blind draw. Actually, I think the first one I poured out was sriracha. I don't see any shavings on this one. No other colors. So it's not Cayenne or Carolina Reaper. Does that one look like the sriracha one to you, D-Rose?
I don't have the I have the beans upstairs, so I actually have not a clue.
Dude, look how crazy I look right now. I look like the fucking what's the fucking grandpa from fucking Rick from fucking Rick and Morty. That's
there you go. It's a good look on you.
Oh my goodness, here we go. Thanks, Will of Doom. Hey, I could have gotten a worse bean. This is literally the easiest bean. So, dude, it actually tastes fucking terrible. Believe it or not.
It's the bean bot.
Dude, it's still fucking hot though. It fucking tastes like the. I didn't swallow this motherfucker. We gotta have like a chew for 10 seconds or some shit like that, because now I'm chewing this bitch for no reason.
It's bean bot.
Dude, it's like that fucking tastes like those jalapeno chips, if I'm gonna be honest. But a little sweetness to it.
Well, it doesn't sound like it was too bad though.
Well, it was the least hot one. The shit was still hot. It's all right, D-Rose. We'll save the Carolina Reaper for you next week, Big Daddy. I don't know if I've ever had sriracha.
Sriracha, like you said, it's low level heat. It is low. It's considered low level heat.
All right, D-Rose. We've lost all of our viewers at this. Only 2 people left now. All right. They're probably like, hey, we came here for MMA and there's just a fucking blue hair guy fucking spinning wheels and eating jelly beans.
What the fuck is going on here?
Dude, that does not belong in a jelly bean. Like, that's the issue. It doesn't, well, like, that flavor doesn't belong in a jelly bean. And then it just tastes weird now. How is D-Rose supposed to spit this? He can't. Oh, how is D-Rose supposed to spit to this? Oh, the fucking rock we had going.
Yeah, the rock beat.
That was the Will of Doom, Dave.
I was jamming.
All right. Well, Will of Doom is over. We had some people come back now. All right. Anyway, let's get into our UFC news and fight announcements, D-Rose. Let's see. Instagram, share this tab instead. Dude, my mouth is hot.
Jalapeno chips.
Yeah. All right. D-Rose, breaking. Dana White will announce entire UFC White House card this week. Thoughts on that?
So he's going to announce it as soon as we're done with the podcast, is what you're saying.
That's usually how it happens, brother man.
Yeah, which is as you said, typically how it happens. But yeah, this seems a little weird just because what? So they've announced the April pay-per-view, but they still have to announce May too, though, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
They haven't done that yet, but then they would skip May and go to June. You know, I think he probably wants to announce it, but you know, let's hold our cards to the vest here a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like either way, like it's like I agree. I love Antoine. Like no matter what it is, like I think everyone's gonna be like, oh, that's fucking not that cool, you know. But I don't know. It just seems odd to have a Brazilian and a Frenchman headline the White House card. It's just kind of hard to see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say just because he vacated. I mean, I think because he vacated, that obviously means that he's moving up to heavyweight. But I don't think that automatically means that he's the main event because I'm with you. I don't unless they do the John Jones fight, and that fight is still on the table. I know. I've heard Ariel Helwani report on it and say that although it's not the front runner, that fight's not dead for the White House. I'm not going to bank on them putting John Jones on the head of the White House.
Yeah, I got you, man. So let's get to the rest of our news this week. We have none other than Clayton Carpenter taking on Jose Ochoa. I know you're a fan of Jose Ochoa. What's your thoughts against prospect Clayton Carpenter?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Jose Ochoa, he's got some pretty good hands, and Clayton Carpenter, he's pretty good too. Like you said, young prospect. What's his last fight, Contender Series or
Who is that?
Clayton Carpenter?
No, he's 2-2 in the UFC.
Okay, for some reason I don't know why I felt like he just got into the UFC, but yeah, that should be a fun fight.
All right, moving on to the next one. If you care about it, D-Rose, it is none other than Charlie Radke taking on Jose Henrique. Don't know nothing about Jose Henrique, but I know you're a fan of old Chuck Buffalo, huh?
Yeah, I mean Chuck Buffalo he can bring a certain pace and pressure to a fight that can bring a little bit of action. So that could like you said, I don't know much about Henrique, but you know uh should be a fun fight.
All right. How about this one? Alexis Tainara taking on Bruna Brazil. Update March 28th now, Seattle.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did they not announce this fight already? But I
Yeah.
guess they just announced that they were moving it. Yeah, I remember talking about it before.
How about this? Roman Kapilov, Marco Tulio. That's for May 9th, New Jersey.
That's a fun fight. That's a striker's delight, and Tulio, he got blasted by Chris Leroy Duncan in his last fight. So how hesitant is he going to be? And has Kapilov fought since the Costa fight? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on who he fought last.
I know that Bruno Silva, Bruno Ferreira submitted him. Was that before or after?
Felt like that was before,
Yeah, I don't know.
but anyway, yeah, but
Yeah.
Roman Kapilov. Just to say that Roman Kapilov might be coming off a couple of losses back against the wall.
Mhm.
That could be a fun fight too.
How about Atiba Gautier taking on Ozzy Diaz?
Is Ozzy Diaz just not, Jose Medina in disguise? Like, because I mean, at this point,
Hey,
he
he
is
has a
literally
UFC win. He has a UFC win.
he is used for the same purpose. He is used to go out there and be the bad end of a highlight reel for his opponent. Like, yeah, he's not going out there because the UFC has high hopes of him. So, it sucks to kind of be in that position because he's getting the worst dealt hand that you can get. But yeah, that's just, I guess, just for his position, that's just what comes with it.
That's fair, man. That's fair. Moving on to the next one. Davy Grant taking on some guy, Martini, Mar Martinetti. Martinetti. What's your thoughts on this one?
Davy Grant, left hook Larry, he's
Indeed.
back. And that
He's
dude,
back.
man, he's still a dog, man. He's still a dog.
Let's see. Anton, do you guys think Gautier goes another 2 years fighting unranked guys? Dude, he can't, dude. two more years is crazy.
It depends on how many fights in a year too. So I mean, if he gets 2 fights this year and 1 fight next year, that's not crazy to think.
Yeah. D Rose, you personally sent me this one and said, "Hey, your guy is back in the UFC," and he is Tanner the Bulldozer Bozer, making his UFC return. Canada, Winnipeg, Montaba. How do you say this? I don't know. Canada. April 18th. I'm a fan of Bulldozer, but man, he was just getting toasted in the UFC. Moved down to light heavyweight, got toasted some more. Looks like moving back up to heavyweight though. Against UFC newcomer Gokhan Sarakam. Never heard of the dude. What's your thoughts on this fight, man?
Yeah, just just I guess I'm just surprised to see Tanner Boser back. Had he even been fighting since he left the UFC? Like, has he
I
been
can
fighting in
check
the
and
regional
see.
scene? Yeah, I was gonna say maybe check and see. I don't want to be ignorant, but I know he's been out for what since 2022, 2023. So, if he's coming back, if he's coming back off like a pretty long hiatus, I wonder how sharp he's going to be. It almost just seemed like they just needed.
No, he fought outside the UFC, D Rose. He fought June 2025 and beat a guy by retirement in the third round, whatever that means.
Okay,
So the guy just
so
quit.
somebody threw in the towel. Yeah, I got sound the didn't get up off the
TKO.
stool, something like that.
What's
Pretty
wild
much.
is he won his last UFC fight as well.
I remember he moved down to light heavyweight, but it was a boring fight though, wasn't it?
It was against Aleska Kammer. That's fucking Stipe's little fucking training partner.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But anyway, yeah, they just needed a Canadian body on that card, and they were like, hey Tanner, you doing anything this date? And I got him back.
Moving on to one that ain't cool to one that is cool. Jack Della Maddalena, the other JDM. JDM number 2 behind Jose Daniel Medina versus Carlos Prates. Dude, what's your thoughts on this badass fight happening May 2nd at the RAC Arena in Perth, Western Australia?
Man, I really, really hope that nothing happens to where this fight falls through because I know that JDM has gotten injuries and stuff like that before. I know he's hurt his hand and stuff in the past. But just in terms of this fight, like, dude, this is a badass fight, and just the style matchups. I mean, this is one that like you can go into an Islam fight and say, hey, Islam might hold a guy down or whatever. Like there's gonna be no holding down in this fight at all, and really the style of the striking where Prates is so dangerous with that one shot power, and for JDM where he kind of uses that pressure boxing where I haven't really seen Carlos Prates kind of get pressured as much except for maybe against Ian Gary, but if JDM gets Carlos Prates backing up, he starts throwing them body shots once he gets Carlos Prates backed up against the fence, man, JDM can get to work as well. So this fight, it's dude, it's fun, and I'm 100% excited.
That's fair, man. Let's see what else we got here.
And dude, that lets you know right there. If Prates wins that fight, he's fighting for the title next.
Yeah, I agree. An announcement that came out of nowhere, D Rose, because we thought it was going to be Vicente Luque versus Kyle Dawkins, right?
Correct.
It looks like that is not happening. Dana White came out and announced, dude, and also the UFC has done KG dirty with his picture. Like, look how bad he is. His picture,
I mean,
dog.
That's what he looks like, dude. I mean, if that's what he looks like, that's what he looks like.
He's got a swollen beer belly in the picture. Taking on Vicente Luque. I'm guessing this is going to be at middleweight. Indeed, it is. So Vicente's still moving up to middleweight here. As crazy as it sounds, D-Rose, I feel like this is a more winnable fight for him than the Kyle Dawkins was. Because if it starts going south, man, Vicente has the wrestling and the grappling to lean back on. And we know Kelvin Gastelum can get fucking taken down, dude. That's like the one thing that he's always kind of, you know, fell fell to because he's got a granite chin. He can strike. He's got power himself. But dude, you tell him that, hey, I want to take you down, and he fucking starts to fall, dude. I still will not like forget the Hurricane Ian Heinisch fight, dude. But did he choke out fucking Kelvin Gastelum or something like that, dude? It was just like, what the hell? Like, just came out there and just looks like shit, man. So could be a close fight. What's your thoughts, man? Do you like it more than the Dawkins fight or no?
Yeah, I definitely like it more than the Dawkins fight. I would say Kelvin Gastelum and Vicente Luque are two UFC veteran, two UFC OGs at this point. To the point where I would rather see them match up against each other versus watching like young up and comers which kind of feed off of their name. And that's what it felt like they were kind of doing with Vicente Luque versus Kyle Dawkins versus with the fight versus Kelvin Gastelum. I think this fight, it has a lot more there's a lot higher percentage chance it's gonna be competitive.
Yeah, I agree, man. Another fun one here. We got Esteban Rubovic taking on Matus Gamrot. Thoughts on this? Half of a banger?
Yeah. I mean Gamrot, him and Dan Hooker delivered on my fight of the year in 2024. So yeah, I mean that's look, Gamrot, he's good. And this is kind of a chance for Ribovic to, he's put on some fun fights for a little bit now. And now's a chance for him to kind of enter his name up in the top of the division. Credit to Gamrot for wanting to take a fight against a guy maybe back in the rankings like Ribovic, but it's giving the guy a chance. And for the division, it would help it if Ribovic is the breakthrough.
What do you think odds will be for this fight?
It's gonna be so I think Gamrot's gonna be like the slight favorite. I don't think he's gonna be like a heavy favorite. I think he'll probably be like minus 150, probably somewhere around
Man,
there.
I can't wait for him to be like minus 285, dude. I will be betting Esteban Rubovic by fucking knockout in this fight, dude, because Gamrot just gets hurt literally every single fight. It's like if Dan Hooker's hurting you and shit, I think Esteban might fucking put you out cold, dude. So I'll be excited to see what those odds are when this fight comes around. That's in April though. We got one Benny D in his last fight taking on an absolute berserker in Manuel Torres, dude. They are not giving Benny D an easy fight in this retirement fight, are they, dude?
Dude, could not have gotten him a worse matchup if I'm being honest, and someone who, Benil struggles with guys who are fast starters, and I mean if fast starter had a nickname, it would be Manuel Torres, because Manuel Torres is literally foot on the gas pretty much for the entirety of the fight until it's over. So yeah, tough matchup for Benil Dariush, and one that I think he could very well get pretty hurt in.
Yeah, man. He said that was going to be his last one, his retirement fight. And they are not doing him any favors in that one, dude. We've got a fun one here, man. One that I know you can speak on because you've watched both of these dudes. I've just seen these dudes come in the UFC and suck, won one fight, and then just get knocked out for Aaron Pico. So looks like a PFL Tour fight inside of the UFC. Miami, Florida, UFC 327, April 11th. Thoughts on that one?
Yeah, just weird because this fight, was kind of supposed to happen in Bellator already, and it never did. And Aaron Pico kind of lost the fights that was supposed to get him on his way to a title shot. The fight Patricio Pitbull, and then they were actually supposed to fight in PFL, but I believe Patricio Pitbull, he wasn't able to get fights with PFL, so that's when he asked for his release and was asking to go to the UFC at that point. and now, Aaron Pico's in the UFC. They're finally making the fight probably 5 years after, maybe not 5 years, but let's say at least 3 to 4 after people thought it already should have. But I think it's a chance for Patricio to keep building on his resume, in the UFC, and really, honestly, I think it's a chance for me, because I think Aaron Pico, he's probably not going to be the favorite, but I'm probably going to lean towards Aaron Pico because I do think he's going to have the age, athleticism advantage. Yeah, he gets hit, uh, but Patricio, he's a smart fighter, but he is ultimately small for 145.
All right, man. See what else we got? We've got Yuri Prochazka taking on the Black Jag, Carlos Ulberg in Miami, dude. Going to be the main event for UFC at Miami. Co-main event, Tatsuro Taira, Josh Van. We already knew that. This is what was rumored, and thank God it's happening, dude. I think I've said it a few times now. I said it every time. I for sure say it every time he fights. Hands down, Yuri Prochazka is my favorite fighter, dude. I cannot not get excited when he fights. It's like he can be against an absolute bum that will do everything they can to make the fight ass. Point example, Alexander Rakic, one of the most boring fighters on the entire roster. And Yuri Prochazka went in there and made that motherfucker fight. Yuri Prochazka broke him down and does what Yuri does. Shout out Yuri. Give me some Yuri to be and new once again, dude. What, second, third time champion? One of the two to defeat Carlos Ulberg here in Miami, April 11th. What's your thoughts here, man?
Yeah, be a 2-time champ because he won the belt off Glover and has not gotten it back since. Because unfortunately, he's ran into a generational great in Alex Pereira. But just for this fight, this is the fight that I we've talked about it numerous times, but the one that I told you that I wanted to see the most, just because I thought it was the one that the division needed, and, especially with the rumors of Alex Pereira moving up. Even if this fight was for like an interim and Alex Pereira was still kind of mulling over if he wanted to go to heavyweight or not, I wouldn't even be too upset about that, just because, just where I think both these guys are at. I think the fight just makes sense. And yeah, I think, both guys coming in with a lot of momentum. Yuri having the two, dynamic wins against against Jamal and Khalil. And for Ulberg, him, putting on, some great knockouts and having that nasty knockout against Reyes in his last fight. I think he's done enough to punch his ticket for a title fight. This is the one that makes the most sense.
Yeah. Dude, the chats on Ulberg, huh? Antoine.
Uh,
Carlos gonna snipe him. And then Dave, Yuri getting smoked. That's surprising,
man.
Man, fuck y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, we got time,
Yeah.
but it's definitely an interesting fight.
Yeah. We got Jacqueline Cavalcante taking on against Kaylin Vieira. Dude, she looks like a dude in that picture. I'm not gonna lie. She looks like she's in a rock band. like like that's what
Cause
she looks.
tonight will be the night that I will
Dude,
fall for you.
she just looks odd. I don't know. What's your thoughts on this one, if you care at all? Apex May 16th.
Over again.
All right.
Don't make me change my
We got
mind.
Adolfo Vieira taking on Eric McConaughey, dude. What's your thoughts on this one?
Cause tonight will be the night.
All right. And the last one that we had, we got two more. SD Dumas taking on Jackson McVeigh. You care about that one?
Over again.
All right.
Don't make me
And then
change
Robert
my mind.
Valentine taking on Jillian LeBlanc in Canada. Let's go Robert Valentine. Let's go. Fun fighter. Anyway, that's all the fights announcements for this week. Antoine asked something earlier, so I figured we could talk about it. Let me scroll back up here and find it for just a second. Man. Dun, 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 dun. Man, oh yeah, here we go. We got to talk about the RAF incident this past weekend. Arman Saryukian versus whatever dude's name was, Giorgio. The dude's like, you get $1,000 if I take me down. First of all, I've seen that dude been taken down twice now, and apparently he fucking never paid the guy that fucking took him down. Anyway, he had a wrestling match against Arman Saryukian where in the wrestling match, I know it's borderline legal, illegal, but he kept, clubbing Arman Saryukian, slapping him, if you will, jamming him in the face. Arman Saryukian had kind of had enough of it. So once the match was over, Arman Saryukian won, pushed down Giorgio, threw a punch and then maybe a knee in there, and then kind of all hell broke loose. Both teams kind of just jumped in, dude. Thoughts on the RAF incident, D-Rose?
Yeah, that Giorgio dude is pretty much a dork.
Chode.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he's pretty much a dork, and he 100% baited Arman and doing what he was doing, and was it like illegal, in the court of in the court of law, was it illegal what Giorgio was doing? No, but he knew what he was doing, and they were taking points away from him, as the wrestling match was ongoing. And then and then there, that sequence there at the end, I guess Arman had just had enough of it. And I know he retaliated with a few slaps himself in the middle of the contest, but Giorgio had it kind of coming. But for me, I just said that Arman just cannot, he cannot seem to keep himself out of the headlines negatively, to the point where, man, I'm like, man, any type of good momentum he was getting towards getting back in the good graces with the UFC, he does something like this, and I think it could potentially pull him back. I know you said that this could be, we had messaged each other over the weekend, and you said this could potentially be a good moment for Arman, because he's getting, publicity, but I would almost say that it's too much, because Dana White said someone had asked him if the headbutt against Dan Hooker was a part of the reason why Arman's not getting the title shot next. And Dana, wow, we know it's more than just that. Like, Dana did admit that, yes, that had part to do with it, and basically that he was a loose cannon. And this, this incident is not going to help his case any and get back in the good graces with the UFC.
That's fair, man. One more thing that I did hear is one of the Spanish outlets leaked that the next title fight at welterweight was going to be Michael Morales versus Islam Makhachev. So I don't know how true it is, but I heard one of the fucking Spanish outlets fucking kind of say that, and then they got in a little bit of trouble for it. What's your thoughts on that if it does happen?
Yeah, I mean, I'd still like Islam's chances. Even though I know Michael Morales is big, big puncher, big guy, but yeah, Islam, he's he's been undeniable for a while now. So it's going to take a lot for me to pick against Islam.
Let's see. And who do y'all think gets cut this year? A lot of fights get cut. I bet. Who are they going to cut this year, D-Rose? Cody Brundage. Can we get rid of Cody Brundage after this weekend, man? Can Dante Johnson go out there, smoke Cody Brundage, and then we never have to see this motherfucker fight again? Can we see Cedric Dumas get toasted and we don't have to see him again, dude? Like, come on,
took my
dude.
name. You took the name I had. That was exactly the name I was about to pull.
Those are two fighters I was like, what are we doing here? Anyway, with that being said, let's get into our UFC 326 picks, predictions, preview, all that good. Look at that. I said preview and picks. Preview picks and preview predictions and picks. Dude, this banner is all fucked up, huh?
We got preview and picks preview. Well, I mean, we're going to preview our picks, right? Pick preview. So, I mean, are you off? I mean,
yeah, there we go. Anyway, let's save it. Let's get this bad boy back up there. I think I copied the whole thing and then I reposted the whole thing. There we go. UFC 326. Holloway versus Oliveira 2 preview predictions and picks. So we will start by, going down the card. Fight's taking place this Saturday. Prelims start at 5 p.m. East Coast time, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas. 13 fights to go over and break down. Headliner is Max Blessed Holloway taking on Charles Du Bronx Oliveira. Co-main event, Kyle Bahia versus Ranier de Ritter. Rob Font taking on Raul Rosas Jr. We got Drew Dober taking on Michael Diminish Johnson. We have Hobo Cop Gregory Rodriguez taking on Bruno Ferreira. We have Cody No Love Garbrandt taking on Zhao Long or Long Zhao. We've got Dante Johnson taking on D Rose's favorite fighter in the UFC, Cody Brundage. We have Alberto Montes taking on D Rose's second favorite fighter in the UFC, Ricky Tercios. We have Cody Durden taking on Namjar Gal Tumen Burrell. We have Sumu Darji taking on D Rose's third favorite fighter in the UFC, Jesus Aguilar. We have Rafael Tobias taking on Dayar Nergaze. We have Gaston Bolaños taking on Ji Young Lee. And then first fight of the night will be Luke Fernandez taking on Adolfo Bellado. Some fights that fell off the card was Renato Moicano, T City, Paulo Costa, Bruno Ferreira, Dusko Todorovic, Dante Johnson, and Gaston Bolaños versus Ju Sang Yu. Thoughts on the card as a whole, D-Rose?
The main card is pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie; those prelims are kind of rough.
Thank God we ain't gonna pay for this anymore, huh?
Yeah. Thank goodness it's on Paramount now, so we can. Of course, we cannot keep saying, "Hey, it's for free." No, it's not for free, but it's for significantly less than what we were paying before. So, I'm not going to gripe about it, but I think in terms of just grading it as a premium live event, as they like to call them now, B minus. Yeah, I would say, the main card's got I mentioned it earlier. You got a few OGs. It's got a few fun fights, but nothing really of. There's no significant fight on here outside of the main event. In my opinion.
Is there a fight on here that you can't wait to bet on?
That as well. No. I know the one that I least want to bet on.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think that's a given, but I already have one straight bet on this card. So far, my only straight bet. It is a prop, though, so we'll get into it, though. First fight of the night is going to be Luke Fernandez, Adolfo Bellado. Don't really know a whole lot about Luke Fernandez, the Rose, if I'm going to be honest. Out of his last 5 fights, though, he's 5-0. He is 6-0 overall. His last fight was on the Contender Series where he won via knockout 4 months ago. He's 30 years old, 6'1", and a 76-inch reach. Adolfo Bellado, tractor, if you will, 12-3-1 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, 2 wins, a majority draw, the Paul Craig upkick, and then lost to Navajo Sterling via decision. Lost money as well because I thought Navajo Sterling was going to knock him out. He is 30 years old, 6'3", and a 77.5-inch reach. D-Rose, I was a fan of Adolfo Bellado when he first came into the UFC. Seemed like a fun fighter. Like after the Contender Series, this one, almost got finished by Igor Patero, but Igor is a explosive guy round one, so it kind of makes sense. And then the Jimmy Crute split decision happened, split draw happened. Wasn't really a fan of it, and this is where I'm off. I'm off the bandwagon, dude. That upkick against Paul Craig, dude, that was the most ridiculous shit I'd ever seen. And I'll never forget it. So that being said, give me Luke Fernandez to let's go win this fight via decision, because if you don't glance him with an upkick, apparently he doesn't ever get knocked out. So give me Luke Fernandez to win via decision.
Yeah, well, to be fair, he didn't get finished in that fight. It went to a no contest. So
he was knocked out. That was the problem, because he looked at the ref on the way down, fell down, hit his head, and then like fucking woke up and was like scared of the ref, like
Like it's a miracle how all that managed to happen. But
On camera, dude.
But yeah, I'm going to go Luke Fernandez here. I'm not trusting Rodolfo Bellotto to get it done. I'm actually going to go knockout for Luke Fernandez. Big puncher. Rodolfo Bellotto does get hit a little bit, and I think Luke Fernandez is going to kind of start the fight early, where he's a little bit inexperienced. And he's going to kind of come start the fight early. I think he's going to land some big punches early and get Bellotto out of there. Let's go round 1 KO for Luke Fernandez.
All right, easy enough. Moving on to the next one. Gaston Bolaños versus Ji Young Lee. I don't care about this fight, if I'm going to be honest. How are they both? Oh, wait. One's a number 64th featherweight. The other one's a number 64th bantamweight. So it looks like Gaston Bolaños is moving up. Yeah. Dude, even if these fighters were at the same weight class, I would still pick Ji Young Lee to win this fight because I feel like I've seen him. He has okay takedowns, solid ground game. As for Gaston Bolaños, dude, you at this point he's an old striker, and that's all that he's got at this point. So for me, it's a Korean Tiger Ji Young Lee to win this fight, probably via submission. Let's go round 2. But Gaston Bolaños 8-5 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, 3 wins, 2 losses. Lost to Kwang Lee, got submitted as well. Win over Cortavius Romius, lost to Marcus McGee. Win over Aaron Phillips, and that was in Bellator. 33 years old, 5'7", and a 69-inch reach. While Korean Tiger Ji Young Lee is 11-3 overall. Lost his last 2 against Hyder Mill. Okay, fair. And then Daniel Willie Cat Santos via decision. That's fair. 30 years old, 5'10", 73-inch reach. So Ji Young Lee's going to be the bigger guy, longer reach, better ground game. Yeah, Ji Young Lee submission round 2 for me. How about you, D-Rose? You're muted, my guy.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, honestly, I could not have summed it up much better myself. And the exact method and round, it's exactly what I have as well. Gaston Bolaños is a guy who his takedown defense isn't the greatest. Now he's moving up in weight to fight a bigger guy who's going to be the better wrestler. I think round 2 submission is the way to go for Ji Young Lee.
All right, moving on. We got Rafael Tobias taking on Dair Nergazé. Rafael Tobias 14-1 overall. The Brazilian is 22 years old, 6'2", 74.5-inch reach. Fights out of Shootbox Monstero. I don't know what that is. Anyway, Dair Nergazé 10-2 overall. Lost his first 2 UFC fights over Brenison Ribeiro via Kimura. Terrible look. And then lost against the Piss guy via Ezekiel Joke. So that's kind of crazy because we only see Ezekiel chokes from Alexei Oleinik. So not a good look there either. 28 years old, 6'2", 74-inch reach. Yeah, you lose via Kimura against Brenison Ribeiro, and then against the Piss guy, Ezekiel choke. Dude, did this guy have any submissions? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Here we go. Tobias, let's go round 1 submission. Which way are you going here, man?
Yeah, I think that a Nergazai, I know the guy asked us earlier who is someone who we could see get cut this year, and I think Nergazai could be also at the front of that list, especially if he loses in what could be spectacular fashion. For Tobias, from what I've seen, man, he's a pretty potent striker, and for Nergazai to be from Kazakhstan, I know some of those guys have pretty decent grappling, and doesn't seem like Nergazai has a little bit of that, so he wants to keep it on the feet. And I think Tobias is going to hurt him. I'm actually going to go round 1 knockout for Rafael Tobias to get it done.
That's fair, man. Moving on up, we got Sumu Darshi taking on Jesus, the Chef Aguilar, dude. He needs to add that into his fucking fight name. The Tibetan Eagle,
and
Sumu
he
Darshi.
doesn't even have a nickname either, so
right?
It even makes more sense.
Fucking comes out in a chef hat, dude. That'd be fucking perfect. Anyway, Sumu Darji, the Tibetan Eagle, 18-7 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, 3 losses, 2 wins. Lost to Matt Schnell in probably one of the best fights ever. Lost to Tim Elliott. Lost to Energy Johnson. beat Mitropozo and beat Kevin Borjas via decision 6 months ago. He is 30 years old, 5'8", and a 72-inch reach, while Jesus Aguilar, 12-3-0 overall out of his last 5 fights. Only lost one was to Rafael Estevam, but in between the chicken tender Shannon Ross up 2 years ago, 7 months, beat Mateus Mendonça via split decision, beat Stuart Nickel via guillotine, and then beat Luis Garule 5 months ago via decision. He is 29 years old, 5'4", in a 62.5-inch reach, probably one of the shortest reaches inside the UFC, male or female. D-Rose, you like Jesus Aguilar. Which way are you going this week? Let me see if you can sway me on or off of Jesus Aguilar.
Well, if you're looking for me to sway you off of Jesus Aguilar, you are far off here, because if anything, I feel like I am the Jesus Aguilar caper in this instance, because for me, how many times has he been an underdog for me and cashed? Mateus Mendonça.
I don't know if he's ever been a favorite.
Correct. And look at his last 3 fights. I mean, he's cashed 3 out of his last 4, and he's been the underdog in each fight. I think, frame wise, now I know Mateus Mendonça, going to look more to get that fight down to the ground. But I think if you look at body frame wise, I think Sumadarji does have a little bit of that same type of body frame, to where, Jesus Aguilar can work his way inside. You can say Sumadarji with Mitropozo that, he had a similar type body style, and Jesus Aguilar and had success. But Mitropozo had bad footwork and was not able to cut off the cage, and Sumadarji was able to kind of bounce in and out. I think Jesus Aguilar is a smart enough guy to be able to cut off the cage, get Sumadarji backed up against the fence. And even though he has Corey McKenna type reach, Jesus Aguilar, he's pretty strong once he's able to get in there and suck those hips in and get the double leg takedown, and able to kind of control position from there. So I'm going to say Jesus Aguilar gets it done. I'm saying he's cashing as a dog again. Give me Jesus Aguilar here by decision.
No gilly jumping?
He'll probably jump a couple gillies, but I don't think it'll be successful. I think Sumadarji's not going to. I don't think he's going to put himself in a position. Jesus Aguilar will jump to gilly if someone's shooting a takedown on him, but I don't know if Sumadarji is really going to present that opportunity.
Give me round 3. Sumadarji at this point, gassed out from beating on Jose Aguilar, shoots in for a gas takedown, and Jesus Aguilar sinks up that gilly. Round 3 submission, Jesus Aguilar.
Wow.
That's the way I'm seeing it. Up next, we have Cody Durden taking on Nam Jargal Tumanumbarel. What a mouthful. Talking about penis and a mouthful, one podcast. Anyway, custom-made Cody Durden, 17-9-1 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, lost 4, won 1. His one win is over Danger, Matt Schnell, and he double-tapped in that fight. Anyway, 34 years old, 5'7", 67-inch reach. Nam Jargal Tumanumbarel is 9-1 overall. His only loss ever is to Carlos Hernandez, split decision in a year and 3 months ago. I'm about to sneeze, or maybe not. It went away. I don't know. And his last fight has a win over some bum. I don't know. He's 27 years old, 5'7", and a 71-inch reach. It looks like they're going to be the same height, D-Rose. I guarantee you, fight day, Nam Jargal is going to be about 3 inches taller than Cody Durden. Going to have a big reach advantage. Dude, Cody Durden, he's just been looking good and then just getting fucking cracked. And then it just all goes downhill from there. Like the Bruno Silva, where's the Bruno Silva fight? Yeah, this fight, dude. He was roasting Bruno Silva in the first round, took him down, round ended, got up, was like shaking his head like, oh, I got him. He's breaking. Comes out round 2 and gets smoked with the first uppercut that he fucking lands. He did beat Matt Schnell, but then just went on losing to Josh Van. Jose Ochoa got knocked out there pretty bad as well. And then Alan Nascimento got choked out. So not a good look for Cody Durden, man. And not the best look. I think I'm gonna go in the UFC, not newcomer, but semi-newcomer at this point. Give me Namjargel Tumadumbarel to win this fight. Let's go via decision, man. What's your thoughts here?
Yeah, for me, I think Cody Durden's been on a little bit of a tough streak here as of late, just because and obviously he's fought some top guys, but you went over the list of the losses that he's had, and Josh Van, even though that one went to a decision, dude, he took a
He got the shit beat
hellacious
out of him.
beating.
Yeah.
Dude, Josh Van put it on him so bad. Like, he hurt him in the second round, and I think like Cody Durden was fighting on airplane mode for the rest of that fight, because he literally got the snot beat out of him. Got knocked out by Jose Ochoa like not that long after, only literally like 4 months later.
Dude, and then 4 months later, 4 months ago, he fucking fought again.
Yeah.
So he got fucking knocked out 8 months ago by Ochoa. Fought 4 months ago. Lost by Anaconda choke. So it ain't even been a full year. Dude, he's just taking dude, he's giving himself no time to recover. Because he's getting hit in training camp.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not the biggest believer.
You know what, dude? I'm fucking changing this to knockout. Let's go round 2 knockout.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. To Nimbarel, I'm going round 2 knockout. I don't know much about him, and I know he's got some pretty decent wrestling and things like that, but Cody Durden just gets hit and hurt too often in his fights now. I think Tim Burrell gets it done by a second round knockout as well.
All right, moving on to the next one. We have Alberto Montes taking on Ricky Tercios, the Rose's second favorite fighter in the UFC. Alberto Montes, the promise. Ilia Topuria lookalike, if you will. Once you see him in the cage, you'll be like, there's 3 Ilia Topurias. There's a Alberto Montes, Gaston Bolaños, and then there's Ilia Topuria. So 10-1 overall. 31 years old, 5'7", 69-inch reach. While Ricky Tercios, 12-5 overall out of his last 5 fights, all inside the UFC. Win against Brady Heaston, I don't know how. Loss against Eamon Zahabi. Win against Kevin Natividad. Loss against Raul Rosas Jr. Loss against Bernardo Sopai. He is 32 years old, 5'9", 71-inch reach. Ricky Tercios is ass, dude. Give me the UFC newcomer to win by decision, and that's all I need to say. You got anything to add, man?
Yeah. Man, I'm not gonna lie. I've actually been going back and forth on this fight a little bit. Just because,
shit, son! You got the Gracie foot stomper.
Yeah, the Gracie foot stomper. But my big thing is that Alberto Montes is going to look to get it to the ground as well. That's really where Tercios is going to have his best opportunity. Man, both have been off for a year. Man, this is definitely a gamble. I'm taking Ricky Tercios here, man.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know why. I almost feel like this
Hey,
is one of
man.
those perfect fights where, hey, we count the vet out against a newcomer, and the vet ends up, showing him up. I think Ricky Tercios. I think you could say him and Alberto Montes are on about the same level. So yeah, I think Tercios is worth the underdog money, and I'm
That's fair,
gonna
man.
take him here to win.
When I look at fights, dude, there's 3 things. There's what in my head, my brain, what I get from watching fights, the key points that I have. I have my heart, who I want to win, who I'm a fan of, and then there's always the X factor, my stomach. What does my stomach tell me? And this one, your stomach is telling you Ricky Tercios is winning.
Yeah. As much as I don't feel great about it, I mean,
Yeah.
I truly don't, but I don't.
That's our
feel
first
good
favorite pick
about,
of the night, yeah?
Yeah, I
All
don't
right.
feel good about Montez either. So
Moving on to the next one, where we have one that I'm not spending any time on. Dante Johnson, Cody Brundage. Dante 7-0. Cody Brundage. Out of his last fights, dude, out of his last 5 fights, he's won 1 of them. We shall leave it at that. Dante Johnson's 5'8". Cody Brundage 6 foot, dude. I bet we go into the octagon. Cody Brundage is. I think at the weigh-ins, in the face-offs, everyone's going to be like, "Oh shit, I thought Cody Brundage was going to be a lot bigger, dude." I think these heights are off. Yeah, man, I'm going round one knockout. Dante Johnson, gonna bet my house on it.
Yeah. Death, taxes, and me not betting on a Cody Brundage fight is a guarantee. But again, I told you guys this time and time again, do not bet on Cody Brundage fight. You will be disappointed. But I will say, yeah, I think, Cody Brundage, did he not just fight like 5 weeks ago and just get smoked by
Dude, I remember
Cam
he
Johnson?
kept here, let me see if I can pull this up. I remember he was fighting the battle giraffe, Cam Ralston, and anytime, so he's like fucking back up against the cage, and he would sit down and just like launch himself. He would sit down and just like he just fucking back up against the cage, and like in the entire fucking commentary team was like, he's gonna get kneed right up the middle because he keeps setting down.
Yeah, and he eventually did end up finally getting knocked out. But yeah, he just fought a month ago, took some big damage in that fight, fighting a powerhouse like Dante Johnson. Like, dude, he is an absolute machine. Yeah, I think Dante Johnson gets it done. I'm going first round knockout as well.
It's fair, man. Moving on to the next one. My only straight bet of the week so far, we have Cody No Love Garbrandt taking on Zhao Long. Cody No Love Garbrandt 14-7 overall out of his last 5 fights. 3 losses, 2 wins. It was 4 years ago, but lost to Kai Car France at 125. Beat Trevin Jones, beat Brian Kelleher, lost to Davidson, lost to Hani Barcelos. He is 34 years old, 5'8" and a 65-inch reach. While Zhao Long, out of his last 5 fights, he is 3 wins, 2 losses, but overall 27-10. He has a win. Let's go to the UFC. Loss to Chang Ho Lee, win over Quang Lee, and lost to Yu Sung Yu. So the first time he's going to be fighting someone that wasn't on the road to UFC. He is 27 years old, 5'8", and a 70-inch reach. Does he have knockouts? He does have knockouts, D Rose, which makes me say my only straight bet of the week is Zhao Long via knockout. Let's go round 1 knockout. D Rose, I don't know how else to say this besides Cody Garbrandt is so fucking washed at this point. Like, when you put something in the, let's just say you're baking cookies, right? You set the timer, but you peek in the oven, you're like, they're not quite done yet. I'll fucking give them a few more minutes. And then you forget. That's Cody Garbrandt. You realize when your house is smoking, there's smoke billowing out of your oven, dude. Them shits are past done. They're congratulations, dude. Cody Garbrandt is congratulations at this point. I don't know why he's still fighting. Zhao Long, round 1 knockout for me. Which way are you going here, bro?
Now the washed allegations, I'm with you. Because, and I'm telling you, it was for me. And I picked him to beat Hani Barcelos in his last fight. And I don't normally pick against Hani Barcelos that much, but I did pick Cody Garbrandt, just trying to maybe even just will Cody Garbrandt to a win at this point. Like, come on, man, you can do it. No love, baby. Let's go. You're back,
dude. He's fighting
but,
the bottom of the bottom, dude. Road to UFC is below the Contender Series, below Tough Fighters, dude. They match them up with each other to get them wins, dude. If he can't win this fight, they gotta cut him, man.
Dude, and so you were talking about, Cody Brundage exploding off the fence. Well, Cody Garbrandt also in his last fight was trying to explode off the fence against Hani Barcelos, and it was the most sad attempt that I'd seen in my life.
He's so tired.
He goes to throw a right hand and a left hook like he's fainting it, and he can't even pick up his arms to throw the punch because he is so gas. And I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do. I'm just saying it's going to be hard to compete at the top levels in the UFC when you're so tired in the 3rd round, you can't even pick up your arms.
Especially against a 27-year-old, dude.
Yeah, I'm not going to go knockout here for Xiaolong. I want to go by decision, but I think Xiaolong gets it done.
Man, it's tough. Tough, man. Moving on to the next one. We
Yeah.
got Hobo Cop, Gregory Rodriguez taking on the Hulk, Bruno Ferreira. And guess what? This is the second one. And shit, dude, it might even be is it Hobo Cop? So it's not in their past 5 fights, dude, but what was it, 3 years ago that these two fought, dude? We were doing the podcast when these two fought the first time. The
Yep.
reason that I know that is because Hobo Cop lost me my fucking money. This was the fight that Hobo Cop went on the DNB, the do not bet list. He went to the betting graveyard with this fight because you just look at the measurables 5'10 versus 6'3, 72-inch reach, 75-inch reach. Hobo Cop was on this run. Dude, I feel like Hobo Cop is involved in fights that make me be like, he's going on the do not bet list. The Julian Marquez put Julian Marquez on the do not bet list versus Hobo Cop. And then the first fight of this current fight right here, it was Bruno Ferreira that put Hobo Cop's lights out. And then I was like, I'm not betting on Hobo Cop fights anymore, dude. I cannot get it right to save my life, dude. I pick him to win, he loses. I fucking pick him to fucking lose. He fucking snoozes guy in the fucking first round, dude. I've lost more money betting Hobo Cop submission props than what any sane person should, dude. It's they have the sick fetish of betting Hobo Cop via submission, and then I don't know if he's ever even attempted one submission inside the UFC, dude. There's something wrong with me. Yeah, dude. I think this fight goes pretty similar to the way that the first one went. First one went, dude. But let's break it down. 18-6 overall. Hobo Cop out of his last 5 fights, 4 wins, 1 loss was to Jared Cannonier. On the other hand, Bruno Ferreira out of his last 5 fights, 4 wins, 1 loss. His 1 loss was to Abu Smagomedov. Hobo Cop's 34, supposedly 6'3 and a 75-inch reach, while Bruno Hulk is 33, 5'10 and a 72-inch reach, dude. I think what this comes down to, D Rose, is who has cleaner boxing, faster hands in the pocket. Because Hobo Cop likes to throw down, dude, but it's like you almost have to be at the perfect range for him to hurt you. As our Bruno Ferreira just comes in, winging, throwing, clubbing, fast, straight punches too. Give me Bruno Ferreira. Let's go. Don't want to go late round 1 or early round 2 not. Let's go late round 1 knockout for Bruno Hulk Ferreira. Which way are you going here, man?
Man, I'm surprised. For me, I think the way this
I don't
fight
know
goes
how
for me
Hobo
is
Cop's the favorite here, dude. That's my thing.
because the measurables. You look at the measurables, and honestly, for me, I would say
But
even
it
if you
wasn't
look
like
at
the
the
fight was 6, 8 years ago. This shit was 3 years ago. And has either fighter changed one single bit? Bruno even took that fight on like super short notice, you know? So it's like,
but I would say in that fight, it's not like Bruno was dominating before. He
dude, it
ended
was
up
like 10
knocking out Holloway.
seconds. He just fucking snoozed them.
Right, yeah, exactly. So I don't know if we saw enough from that fight to really know how, if this fight gets extended, how the fight would look. And a guy like Bruno Ferreira, who doesn't have the best gas tank in the world. I mean, I know Gregory Rodriguez gassed out against, Jared Cannonier, but other than that, I mean, he knocked out Brad Tavares in the 3rd round. He knocked out Jung Young Park, he knocked out the Iron Turtle in the 3rd round. So yeah, I think Gregory Rodriguez has a little bit of a better gas tank in my opinion to get the fight done. I don't know if he knocks out Bruno Ferreira, and I'm with you. I believe I bet I believe I bet Hobo Cop by submission in his last fight as well, and was a little disappointed. So I'm not going to say he gets it done by a late sub. I'm going to say by decision here for Hobo Cop, but I think we're going to see a little bit more wrestling from Hobo Cop in this fight. I think you're going to see a little bit more wrestling and trying to slow down the fight, slow down that potency from Bruno early on.
That's fair, dude. Moving on to the next one. Well, I know we're going to be split on it, man, huh?
Looks like it.
Drew Dober, 28-15 overall out of his last 5 fights, 2 wins, 3 losses. Win over Ricky Glenn, lost to Renato Moicano, lost to John Silva, lost to Manuel Torres, but win over Kyle Prepolek 4 months ago in a fight that he was, I'm not going to say he was losing, but, didn't look great.
He was losing.
37 years old, 5'8", 70-inch reach. The Menace, Michael Johnson, Blackie Al. That's what they used to call him. 24-19, 39 years old, 5'10", 73-inch reach. This isn't a fight about who has faster hands, Rose, and I have to keep that in mind. Dude, Michael Johnson's going to be winning every moment of this fight until he backs up one time, dude. And he's going to get fucking clipped. This is one where it's like my heart and my gut is like, oh, Michael Johnson's getting knocked out. As soon as this fight's been announced, I'm like, fucking Drew Dober is going to fucking clobber him. And that's the way that I'm going, man. Give me Drew Dober to knock out Michael Johnson. Let's go late round 2, D-Rose. I assume you're going the Menace.
Yeah, for me, the way I see this fight is, I know I've heard people say that Drew Dober has fought the better competition recently. Okay,
I mean,
maybe.
John Silva, Manuel Torres, though. I mean, I put him on the same level as like fucking Zellhuber, around there.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
yeah,
put him
I don't
like
know
kind
about
of
where.
No, but I'm saying like
Well,
as far as like not after this past weekend, but I'm just saying as far as like talent, I would put like Bahamundez, Zellhuber, like Manuel Torres, maybe Estevan. They're all kind of in that same little category, like right outside the top 15.
right. But and I more or less say that to say that people say that he's fought the better competition lately, but has he beaten the better competition?
That's true.
Look at Drew Dober's wins. Kyle Prepolek, in which a fight, and I'm sorry, he was getting whooped.
I was driving to
fight
Texas at that point. I was at the Texarkana border watching that fight.
Yeah, Drew Dober was getting whooped in that fight before he landed the numerous low blows against Kyle Prepolek, and then he just basically put the foot on the gas because he knew he was losing in the third round, and was able to get the finish. And his last win was against Ricky Glenn. To me, Michael Johnson has looked cleaner. I know he can get knocked out, but dude, Drew Dober has been coming out of his fights looking like an absolute mess. Just with all the scar tissue and stuff that's built up. This fight is picture perfect for Michael Johnson's style to get this fight done. I think it's by decision. I think it's a little bit of a fun fight, but I think Michael Johnson uses his good footwork, good counterboxing. And I think you're going to see Drew Dober's face look like a bloody mess at the end of the fight.
That's fair, man. Moving on. Feature fight of the night, we got Raul Rosas Jr. taking on Javi Font. Javi Font is 22-9 overall out of his last 5 fights, 3 losses, 2 wins. Lost to David Martinez, win over John Matsumoto, win over Kyle Phillips, lost to David Figueroa, lost to Corey Sandhagen. I was at that fight, dude. That sucked. He's 38 years old, 5'8", 71-inch reach, while Raul Rosas Jr., El Nino Problema, is 11-1 overall. His only loss ever is to C-Rod. Since then, knocked out Terrence Mitchell, submitted Ricky Tercios, beat Arichi Lang via decision, and beat Vince Morales via decision. He is 21 years old, 5'9", and 67-inch reach. D-Rose, at this point, Raul Rosas Jr., he's getting his man muscles a little bit. He's learning. And in his last 2 fights, he showed me that he's not really interested in trying to finish you. He's interested in winning and, taking fighters down, controlling them, doing enough, staying on top, not getting stood up. That's a good way to win, and I think that's how he beats Raul Font. So give me Raul Rosas Jr. to win this fight via decision, D-Rose. I know when this fight first got announced for Seattle, you were big on Rob Font. But I know since the fight fell out and then he fought David Martinez, you were going forward. You were like, I don't know if I'm going to be picking Rob Font against Raul Rosas Jr. I guess thoughts on that and who you picking?
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I've still been mulling over the fight back and forth this week. Really just thinking about it from the font standpoint, because as you said, when the fight was first announced, I was big on Rob Font. Even I think it was after the Kyler Phillips fight, I was like, man, for Rob Font, that's a perfect matchup. Uh, and Ron Roses has looked good. I still think I'm gonna have to roll with Rob Font here, man. It just kind of smells like that type of position where he's gonna be in, to where and so here's basically the way I think the fight's gonna go. If Raul Rosas ends up getting the takedown or ends up getting back control on Rob Font for the entire first round, Rob Font's gonna lose, because I think that he's going to end up, if he ends up getting his back taken, he's going to realize that he's going to be down. He's going to be kind of pressing the action a little bit more in the second and third round, and Rosas is just going to maybe set him up for a tricky takedown. I think if Rob Font's able to stuff his takedowns, we know on the feet. I mean, Raul Rosas can have some power in certain situations. I know he's had knockdowns in his career before, but
Terrence Mitchell,
like
but
against
I
Terrence
mean
Mitchell.
that guy's ass.
Yeah, exactly. So, but Rob Font gets hurt a lot in his fights too. So, I am saying that he does get hurt in his fights. But if Rob Font is snapping that jab against Raul Rosas, and Raul Rosas almost doesn't know what to do to a certain extent, doesn't know how to get out of the way, that's what I'm curious to see, how much he's going to start hitting the panic button in Raul Rosas. Is he going to panic? Is he going to keep his composure? I don't know. He hasn't fought a guy at the level of Rob Font still yet. I'm going to go Rob Font by decision to get the upset here.
That's fair, man. Moving on, co-main event, we've got Kyle Bahayo taking on Ranier de Ritter. Kyle Bahayo, out of his last 5 fights, he is 4 wins and 1 loss. His loss is to Nasruddin Imavov. Overall, though, he is 17-2. He is 33 years old, 6'1", 75-inch reach. While RDR, Ranier de Ritter, 21-3 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, his only loss is to Brendan Allen in his last fight, where pretty much gave up 4 months ago. I feel like it's been longer than 4 months, though, to be honest. He is 35 years old, 6'4", and a 78-inch reach. D Rose, I know you're more RDR seasoned than me, but from what I've seen, this is the second time we've seen this happen to RDR. However, the first time was at heavyweight, dude. That's a big difference than 185. So, I, do we take his word for it, dude? Because since he's been in the UFC, he's fought 5 times, dude. In a year and 3 months, he fought GM3. Then 2 months later, fought Kevin Holland. Then 3 months later, fought Bo Nickel. Then 3 months after that, fought Robert Whitaker. Then 3 months after that, fought Brendan Allen, dude. So he's been fighting, dude. Do you think the wear and tear just took a toll on him? Didn't really give his body time to recover. Too many big weight cuts. He's a big guy, dude. And then he just fucking gassed out, dude. I feel like if that last fight didn't happen, this one right here, this fight would be about a pick'em. Maybe even RDR being the favorite, dude. But that being said, that last fight happened though. He's 35 years old, 6'4", and a 76-inch reach. This is one that I have probably the most trouble with this whole week, is because I think everyone's counting RDR out because of that last fight, dude. But you just look at his schedule, dude. Dude has just been rocking and rolling. Like, since he's been in the UFC, this is the first time that he's took over 3 months off in a fight since he's been in the UFC. So I think just until I see some changes, I gotta go Kyle Bahayo. I'm gonna go by decision. But if RDR won this fight, dude, it wouldn't surprise me, and I might even throw a little, a little straight bet on RDR if this line keeps getting a little bit farther apart, dude. What's your thoughts on this fight, man? Co-main event.
For me, I think that I'm not going to say I'm necessarily counting out RDR, but I think this is a tough matchup for RDR, because I think his best chance would be against somebody like, might not have the best defense against his grappling, but I think a guy like Kyle Bahayo, who's, I know they adopt the name the Fighting Nerds, but he really is a smart guy and looks at fighting from a different angle, just in terms of, being able to break down the fights. And I like the way that Kyle Bahio kind of composes himself within the fights as well. Fights a smart fight, mostly, and I think RDR can be a little bit wild, man. Like his big thing, on the feet are the knees. But outside of that, I don't know if he really has the hands to hurt Bahio. And I think Bahio could work his way in, and I think he could rough RDR up. I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk for Bahio. I still think it's going to be by decision, but I think there's going to be multiple times, maybe similar to how Whitaker hurt Bahio, or I'm sorry, how Whitaker hurt RDR. I think Bahio could have similar instances where he could maybe end up dropping RDR and hurt him on a couple different occasions.
It's fair, man. Moving on. Main event time. We got Charles Do Bronx Oliveira taking on Max Bless Holloway. Max Holloway, 27-8 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he has 4 wins, 1 loss. His loss is to Ilya a year and 4 months ago. He is 34 years old, 5'11", 69-inch reach, while Charles Do Bronx Oliveira, he is 36-11 overall, alternating wins and loss. Win over Benny D, lost to Armin Saryukian, win over Michael Chandler, lost to Ilya, win over Matus Gamrot. We know what's coming next. 36 years old, 5'10", and a 74-inch reach. Indy Rose, ever since Charles has been on this little streak that he's been on, I have played the Ice Spice edit because I have picked Charles Do Bronx Oliveira. I have said, shout out the Bronx, let Ice Spice let y'all know who I pick. But this week I can't do it, D Rose. I think this is one, the head, the heart, the stomach. My heart wants Charles to win. I want him to win, dude. He's probably in one of my top 5 favorite fighters of all time, dude. So fun to watch. But my head and my stomach say Max is just going to go in there and just knock out Charles. It's been 7 months since he's been knocked out by Ilya. Yeah, he fought Matus Gamrot 4 months ago. Have you seen Charles Oliveira sparring, dude?
He's out there going for it.
Dude, he is. It's just not the best look. I can't shake the feeling that Max going to go in here and snooze Charles, dude. Let's go, Max Holloway, knockout round 3, D Rose. And that being said, I'll save my picks. Which way you going, brother man?
I am surprised that a lot of people are picking Holloway by knockout just because, we know how tough Charles Oliveira can be. Even though, you can say, hey, in the Islam fight, he got finished, but, the Saryukian fight went to decision. Obviously got knocked out by Ilya, right? But we know how Ilya fights. So for me, I still think Max gets it done. I do think he gets it done by decision. But I think it's going to end up being a fun fight. What I'm curious to see if Charles is actually able to start using any type of grappling or any takedown attempts on Charles or on Max Holloway, because I had seen the stat that Dustin Poirier is the only fighter to even attempt a submission on Max Holloway. And I'm not saying that Max Holloway doesn't practice, any sort of jiu-jitsu defense or, any sort of takedown defense or anything like that. But, we haven't really seen him get tested with it in the octagon versus someone who has such a dangerous guard like Charles Oliveira. So
And to your point,
that's what we'll be curious to see.
To your point, Max had never been dropped until the Justin Gaethje fight. And I know it said he didn't officially get dropped in that fight, but he got dropped in that fight. Let's be real. And do you know, out of every fight since the Justin Gaethje fight, Max has gotten dropped?
Yep. Did Poirier dropped him, and then Poirier did. And technically Poirier dropped him in their second fight, but the cage saved him because Max fell against the fence. But if it wasn't for the fence, he would have fallen in that fight too. But not going to nitpick.
Yeah, man. So who's your pick, man? Who's your pick for the main event?
We're going Max by decision.
All right. So me and you are both on the same, both picking Max there. Yeah, man. I actually Max at 155. He's a different animal, dude. He just has more power, dude. Like, he has the power and the volume, which you don't really see, man. So That being said, that is the picks and predictions for this weekend's UFC card, UFC 326 in Vegas. Let's see what you guys saying in the chat real quick before we get out of here. Let's see. I'm not going to scroll all the way back. There's a whole bunch of older fights that you guys are talking about. I see BMF here. Here we go. Let's talk BMF. It's actually really good for the sport. I think this one this weekend, yes. The last one, yes. But Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz, no. What about you, D-Rose?
Nate Diaz was the reason the belt was born. I mean, you gotta let Nate fight for it if he's gonna be the one that birthed the belt. But no, I think the belt's good just because it adds exciting fights, and it kind of helps, the fighters that even if they're not in a title fight, but they're the type of, now I would say, I know I've been mentioning fighters who are OGs. Now Max and Charles are legends, and this is kind of an opportunity to kind of let legends really go out there and get acknowledged for being the badasses that they are.
Yeah, and then Antoine following up with, do you think it'll be a forever thing? Like, will it still be around in the UFC 500s? I don't know, man.
We got to see how these styles of fights play out, man. I mean, if we got enough BMFs, maybe, but I kind of like it being a little bit I like them being a little bit stingy with who gets it and who doesn't as well.
Yeah, they for sure got to be fan favorites. That's the one rule. You got to be a fan favorite to even fight for it. All right, D-Rose. So, I guess with that being said, that's going to be it for the show. That's 2 hours of me wearing this fucking blue thing. So I guess next time a clean sweep happens, I'll either wear this blue thing or fucking D-Rose will send me something new, and then we'll just rock it like that. So I guess if I clean sweep D-Rose, I can send him something, and when I clean sweep him the week after week after week, you guys will see D-Rose here with a new haircut every single week. Like he's just gonna have like a whole wardrobe of just all these hairs. And then I think your earphones for it eventually, hopefully stream this Saturday. Oh yeah, that's a good question, D-Rose. Change the cheddar Friday, stream Saturday. Yes, no?
I might be having a date night Saturday.
Saturday, okay. All right, but change the cheddar Friday?
Yeah. Be good to do change the cheddar Friday. I'll keep you posted about on Saturday.
About stream Saturday? Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Appreciate you asking, Antoine, because we just would have forgot about it and we would have went on about our days. So we guys, you guys can see us here Friday for Change the Cheddar. Get our last minute bets and all that before the card on Saturday, and then possibly stream on Saturday. But D-Rose out here trying to have 3 kids instead of 2, making dates with his wife. So with that being said, my name is Matt. D-Rose, the Caltel utilizer, about to utilize it this weekend, and we will catch you guys Friday for Change of Cheddar, yeah?
Yes, sir.
All right. With that being said, my name is Matt. D-Rose on that cyber screen, and we'll catch you guys Friday, Change of Cheddar. Next week for the podcast, and then possibly Saturday for the stream. Peace!